Hey everyone, welcome back to Evony with Genghis. So today I want to talk about T1 traps, free to play or like super low coiner, talking about like $100 a month. So I did a video a little while ago on full ghost free to play players, debuffs. That's what I want to do today. So I'm going to talk about debuffs needed for T1 traps. And again, low coiners, not talking about big coiners here, not talking about someone who has a billion T1s or 2 billion T1s and they're 12 billion power. We're talking about a conventional T1 trap keep, something you'd see that's going to go play at portals and buildings, temples, and it's like maybe 5 billion, 6 billion. Like usually they're 3 billion, 4 billion. So anyways, let's get into it. So first thing is there's two types of T1 traps I'm going to talk about, and I'll show you right now in my troop details. So we'll go down here to the T1s, and no one has T1 Sage. So that's not a T1 defense. So we could go here. While we're here, let's go to my T4 Siege. I know lots of people like to have rumors that I have a lot of them. I have 10 million. Like that's it, guys. Same as everything. Until I get to T5 Siege, then I start to expand them. That's how you should do it too if you're not a T1 trap. Anyways, get these T1 Siege off the board. So we're only talking about warriors and mounted. That's what we're going to talk about here today. So first thing you need to understand here is your T1s are going to defend against one type of troops. Okay, so if you have horse, those defend against ground. If you have ground, those defend against archers. So that's going to help you pick what debuffs you are going to use because they're defending. So you can focus on something else. So my main idea here behind my T1 traps that I advise people to build is you have three options when you're building your troop or when you're defending. One is your T1s are going to defend against something, one type of troop. Your debuffs are going to defend against the other type of troop. And your teleport is going to defend against the other type of troop. So you're a free-to-play player. You can't defend everything. Don't be afraid to move, okay? And obviously sometimes, no matter what you're defending against, if it's an 80 million rally, like, well, you're out of luck. Or if it's a K45 setting the rally and there's like 40 million in it, you're out of luck. But hopefully you play against someone who's a reasonable opponent, you get a fair matchup, and you're going to be fine. So then we're going to talk about the debuffs in the tavern. So let's go over to my notes I have here. So first thing, T1 horse. They will fight against the ground for you. So you don't really have to have ground debuffs. Plus ground debuffs are really hard to get. So it's good to eliminate the need to go after that. And they will overwhelm archer solos. Like good luck anyone who tries to archer solo a T1 trap. Yeah, send your archer solo against 700 million T1s and see how it does. It does very poorly. So, but you're going to be focusing here against rallies. Now, it needs archers or horse debuff. And here's some generals that would help with that. Margaret, AJ Baldwin, NBK, Mark Antony. Let's take a look at them and go over the ones that you should be looking at using. So switch to subordinate city here. Baldwin, we're under the assumption that you can get your generals to 6 stars. Okay, so he gives you 30% right off the bat and then an extra 5 range attack if you can get him up. And then here you could reasonably get a blue or a purple and get him to 6%. So not bad, 4 or 6% additional. So you could get him to about 40% archer attack debuff. And that's going to be pretty useful for you. Now, other ones you could look at, Mark Antony starts at 35. He doesn't descend much unless you can get him to 7 stars. But you do get the extra attack here, and he is good. Then there is obviously Zizka. You can get him in some events, but he's generally not going to be free, but he's not too expensive. And then that's about it on here. Margaret is okay. If you want to diversify, she does do enemy troop attack 10 And unfortunately, she doesn't do anything else unless you're going to full spec, but you're free to play, so that's crazy talk. And 20% more on horses. Now, if we go all the way over, Andrew Jackson's probably the best free to play all around one. He does do 20%, and then you could reasonably get him up to 24% there by doing that. And that's really about it. Other than right at the end here, we're going to find one more who is possibly my favorite T1 trap subordinate city general, NBK. There are better ones, but they're newer and they just came out. So you'll probably see NBK flooded on all sorts of T1 traps because they built them before some other ones became more accessible. But enemy troop defense there. But here, right off the bat, you get 30% range defense and a little bit of HP and defense also. So he's really good. That is basically how you would build out your T1 mounted troop subordinate city generals. Those would be the ones you'd be looking at. There is Hojo also. He is very good. He's like a really good Mark Antony, but good luck trying to get him if you ain't spending any money. You might get lucky getting him in some chests, but he doesn't pop up too often. Now, the tricky one, T1 ground. So some people do build a T1 ground defense, and they will fight against archers. Now, one thing you will do on this is, look at this. So you will need to add T1 archers to your ground defense. And the reason you're going to do that is because then you don't have to worry at all about horse attacks. T1 archers are going to help save the day for you. You could add another 100 million T2 archers, and they will really, really help defend against horse. So you can focus a little bit on ground debuffs or archer debuffs. But another thing that you really could do here is, and this is what I do recommend, I would just go all in on defending horse attacks. And I would just assume that my ground are going to fight against the archers. And then if a ground rally comes against you because you got those archers and ground, teleport. So teleport against the ground. But if you're going to do this and you're really going to go all in on the T1 ground defense, this is your subordinate city general, and you just want as many of you as you can of her. Just load up. She gives you 30% horse attack debuff right here, and if you move up to a couple more stars, you get some more, and she's in the tavern, so you could load up and get a lot of her. Now, the archers are going to just mess up anyone who comes in with horse, and this is a really good keep to use, keep style, for people who are going to horse rally you and people who are going to blind rally you in battlefield. They're going to look and they're going to say, oh, 5 billion. Let's send a horse rally. And unless they're going to send like a 60 million horse rally, if they're just going to send, like, I know our alliance, if we see like a 5 billion keep, it's like, send it early. Just as soon as you see like 30 million, send. And then it'll splat. It will not do well. We've run into some keeps like this that have T1 archers and T1 ground, and we are in for a surprise when we do that. It doesn't feel good. So that's basically your options as a T1 player. So you can build it with T1 horse as the dominant troop, or you can build it with T1 ground and supplement it with T1 archers. Some people do add archers to their horses. Once they finish building them out, then they add archers to defend against horses. And what that will do is it will give you more flexibility so you don't have to teleport as much. Now, keep in mind, if you do take an attack, you're dead on the next attack. So you have to heal after that first attack. You have to bring back those top troops and some of the lower ones. You're going to have some high level. So if you only have T14, hopefully you have T15, hopefully you're a K40. But if you're like a K38, K39, and you only have T14, that's what you're going to have. You're going to have a couple million of your highest level of ground and archers. And they're going to help defend as well. But let's keep the video nice and quick to that. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this. And please always remember the 3 principles of being a T1. Your troops will defend against one type of troop. Your debuffs will defend against another. And then you have to run away when it's the type of attack you don't want to receive. So you have to use the teleport in that case. Your option obviously is, if you're out of teleports, get some reinforcements from your friends, which are the other type of troop. Let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, leave a comment.